Can't believe I'm saying this. Episode 1, Monty's Mayhem, taking a look at Daredevil. All right, everybody, welcome. This is the first episode of, I guess, what we're going to call our Daredevil podcast. I am Nick Monty, and with me is, well, not always, but with me here is...
Kuma of KumaCreations.com. How y'all doing?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm chilling. How's everything?
All right, and just because, in case anyone's getting curious or just says, hey, you screwed up already, we call him Q here because he's just that awesome. He's so big. He's so awesome. He only needs one letter, so throwing that out there now before anyone says, ha, shenanigans. I'm calling it already.
Oh, Mr. Mayhem, we do love your antics.
I try. Well, pretty much, Nick, everyone calls me Monty for the most part. So what happened was I've been starting the comic book blog for a while, or just blog in general too, Monty's Mayhem. And I've been into comics since since I was a little kid, especially going to shows, and that's kind of what I kind of concentrated the blog on. And big Daredevil fan, so wanted to do everything with this podcast. And Q, you're really more into the video games, of course. You know,
yes.
You're down for your anime and your comics and stuff like that, but that's kind of like your thing that you've been concentrating on, yeah.
Yeah, video games were my first passion. I mean, even when I grew up with my uncle, who was manager at Forbidden Planet in NYC back when there was more than just one Forbidden Planet, I was more into the video game scene. Then I got into comic books because he's a big Punisher fan, and I fell into that. So that's how I came into it about it. I'm more into anti-heroes, if you would say.
It's always cool, like hearing like how people get into like that certain that character, or just how they got into comics in general. Because like for me, it was a family friend who had. You remember like there's the 70s live action Spider-Man show?
Yes.
Like I want to say late 70s. And on it was like, it was one of those like, you know, kids don't do drugs sort of posters. Yeah. And I knew of Spider-Man somehow, but just seeing the poster was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Not realizing how crappy everything was at the time. So luckily the 90s cartoons and everything kind of helped out. So
you're going to be kind of disappointed though.
What was disappointed over what? Well,
my first impression of Daredevil was in an Incredible Hulk episode of the live action with what's his name? I can't remember his name. Jesus. What's his?
Who are you talking about?
The 80s live action.
The Hulk?
Yeah, that was my first time I ever heard of Daredevil.
I don't know what it was for me. You're talking about the Lou Ferrigno stuff, but
yeah, that was the first time I heard of Daredevil.
Yeah, I want to say for me it was like I heard like through rumor like, holy crap, this Frank Miller stuff that in Daredevil is like really a big deal. Obviously that came out like I think the year before I was born, but I just heard about the storylines like years down the line about how like that's like it's like the pinnacle, that's like the big run that the comics everyone needs to read. So that's kind of how I got into it. I didn't even read them at first. I think I started like around the Lee Weeks run, big Lee Weeks fan, and that's how it kind of happened for me. And the way I got into Daredevil, or the reason I like the character, is if I like hurt my foot, I'm not going running. I'm going to be a lazy sack of shit. So this guy's like Matt Murdock has every reason to be a bad guy if you think about it. You know what I mean? He got screwed over as a kid. He lost his eyesight. Yeah, he gained the powers, but he lost his eyesight. His dad always made him, he wouldn't let him fight back. He had to stick to his books and shit like that. And, his dad got, murdered for, as a kid, you'd see it as no reason. So if you think about it, he had every reason to be a bad guy, end up helping people.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta see it like that. I mean, it was the people that actually caused it. It wasn't like how they do it in the stories where a bad guy becomes a villain because society screwed them over. It was that the criminal element screwed his life over with his dad, so that's what made him just want to just kick their butts,
True, but that being said, that's a lot for a little kid to take on, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the pinnacle story for any comic book character to start off as a superhero.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, I don't know if they say the exact age, but I mean, like that middle school age. I don't even know what that is nowadays. Like middle school, you're like, what, 12 years old?
Like, what, 12, 13?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a lot to take. That's a lot of harsh truths and reality to take on. But I mean, either way, forget about the age. That's something I found admirable for the fact that, it's just like one of those kind of feel-good stories like someone was able to fight on. Of course, it's a comic book, but that's just something I kind of got into, something I kind of was able to support. So that's why I like the character so much,
I can relate to that. Honestly, I can agree to that. That's why I like him too, because I can relate to his situation, to be honest. Not the blindness, but the whole down on your dump situation. I get that.
Yeah, and everyone's been through that, and it's feel good. How do you not like a goddamn feel good story? You know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, go on.
The thing is that how he became who he is just makes him even more of a badass. Because, I mean, like I said, you're more of the Daredevil encyclopedia, I would say, or the enthusiast than I am. But actually reading the recent novels that you suggested to me, oh my God. I love how the fact that he's such a ladies' man on everything that he does.
He's a pimp. You kind of made me realize more than I think maybe I did originally. But, yeah, he is.
I love the whole idea. He takes that whole not being afraid of anything to that next level where I want to be. I wish I had his tact. I wish I had that. I was like, damn, that's just what's up.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. No, dude, you're absolutely right. And again, I didn't even realize until you pointed that out to me. And I guess we should kind of preface this before we go any further. I've been following Daredevil for years. I'm not going to say I know everything or I've read every single issue. I'll be the first one to admit that. I got into it like really when the Lee Weeks run happened. And I've been backtracking a little bit, filler issues here and there as much as possible before Lee Weeks. Read pretty much as much as I can from Lee Weeks on. So that's like 1990. Crap, I feel old. 1992-ish. 3. Don't laugh at me, bastard. And the whole idea of the podcast is with Q. I've been trying to get you to read Daredevil, and you sounded a little bit like unsure, whatsoever. But when I was like, dude, just check out the runs, and then get back to me if you want to do the podcast. And there you are on the other side of the line right now.
Honestly, it felt like a situation of green eggs and ham. You were just that annoying guy trying to get me to read Daredevil, and I'm just like, damn it, no, man, no. Like a freaking Joe Witness right now, man. I don't want to read your book, okay? Damn, so I finally was bored, and I was like, fuck it. I'll read the damn Daredevil. Give me that. And I was like, holy hell, the man is beast.
Told you.
I'm digging this shit. So I'm part of the Daredevil religion right now. I have converted.
Nice.
I have converted.
Nice. And the thing is, we were looking to save the run, where we were looking to start this podcast when the new #1 issue was coming out in, I guess, what would it be, a month and a half maybe at this point? At the beginning of February, so a little over a month. But we figured, what the hell, maybe if we can cram in all the Mark Waid issues that have been going on since 2011 up till, it starts, it kind of gives us... a good starting point. We originally wanted to do this when the #1 issue came out, but I feel like it would be pretty smart to cram in these 37 some odd issues before that #1 actually happens. So, figure we can do a crash course on everything, and or the Mark Waid crash course rather, and kind of start from there. Because I have a feeling you're going to be much nicer, Q, about the #1 than I am. Because to be honest, I'm not too excited with the way the character's going right now.
Really?
But, yeah. But here's the thing. I think they started Marvel now around issue 23. So we have 23 solid, great issues to talk about.
Okay.
And then it all kind of goes to hell, I feel like, right after that. So there you go. So we'll have some good stuff. So I said we get started with some Mark Waid, and then as a bonus, we talk about Dark Knight stuff, which I know you're you're all sorts of giddy up right now.
I'm all in with Dark Knight. Oh my God. That really honestly, I'm glad I started reading that one first, but we're going to get into that later.
With the Mark Waid, did you start with the Lee Weeks stuff, or did you jump halfway through?
I just started with issue #1.
So with the snow cover.
Wait, are we talking about the same one?
I don't know. I hope so.
Because Dark Knight was the snow cover one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I started off with issue 1. I got to start with issue 1.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So you didn't have to go, but it worked.
You calling me an amateur?
Sir. I'm just making sure I didn't F up already, okay? We're like 9 minutes into this damn thing, and I want to make sure I didn't screw it up already, okay?
No problem.
All right. So I say we start with the Mark Waid stuff, like I said.
Gotcha.
And it starts off, like I said, writers Mark Waid, Paulo Rivera, which I'm sure I'm butchering his name, for the first 3 issues. And I'm not going to lie. First of all, let me just say the Daredevil #1 of this, with him jumping through the city with the Billy Club blocking his eyes and the words kind of filling up.
Awesome.
That is my favorite Daredevil cover
He has
period.
the biggest grin on his face too while doing it.
Yeah, I thought the grin was maybe a bit much, but I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, I like it.
No, but I mean, look, I'll sum it. At first, I remember thinking I thought the grin was kind of stupid. But that being said, everything else around it, perfect. It sums up Daredevil. He's not, you know what I mean? Like, he's not looking. He just has the words that kind of fill the structures of everything else. I don't know how, but if there was some kind of like statue of this cover, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
You never know. Somebody might make it.
Dude, I want this. Like, this symbolizes Daredevil so well in just one image right here. And I love it. And I cannot ask for anything better.
I'm looking at the covers right now as we're speaking.
And?
Dude, it's like there's 6 covers that was made for this issue alone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the other one that's more sinister with the green radar in the background, and he has that evil smile with the red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have my favorite, which is always the classic, him jumping off a building, throwing his batons in the air. I like that whole action. See, I will have that as a poster or a statue. I would like that.
Yeah, I can't get enough of it. I can't say enough nice things about it. And also, like I was saying, the shit-eating grin that he has, kind of, it honestly works out great with the tone of the book. Because just flipping through the book, the one thing I will say, we'll talk about like Volume 2 and a Daredevil and all the shit that happened with him that whole time. But pretty much, I think the best way to say that Volume 2 ended was Daredevil went through the ringer. Pretty much all the dark shit that can happen to someone happened to him, his family, and the people around him. And I think that's just a nice way to sum up how everything happened. He'll hit it eventually, but the man's been through the ringer, and he's finally coming back. It's a very dark overtone.
Yeah, the thing is, I like the character a lot because he doesn't really have anything else. He has one baton, he has his special abilities, but he's pretty much an average Joe guy with an average Joe job. He's a lawyer.
I don't know if I would call that an average Joe job, though.
You know what I mean. I'm not going to say average Joe, but pretty much he walks around, does his thing, and he has a cocky attitude about everything. Even with being blonde, he still has a cocky attitude like, look, whatever, I do my thing.
He plays 2 sides of the coin, and he knows how to work it.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I dig it. I mean, are we going to get into the first issue about it now?
Yeah, let's do that. All right. First thing I just got to say, because referencing that with Volume 2, is that I love the tone of the book right off the bat. It's just the colors, just in general, flipping through the book again, just nice, kind of like bright, vibrant colors. Something you didn't really expect from the last run, almost of Daredevil, for the majority of the run, I should say. It's just kind of. They went the opposite direction right off the bat, and that was perfect. They had to kind of work it up. And not only was the guy being a smart ass, just jumping around, saves the day. And first of all, before I forget, I love the way they make his radar sense look.
Oh, yes.
I love it.
That is hot.
I'm cool with like the vision and shit like that. I mean, I don't know what you think like his ideal radar sense should be, but to me, this is perfect.
No, the thing is that, honestly, I like the vibration of it, but to me, I thought it would be more like submarine sonar. Mm-hmm. But this is actually perfect. I like the whole, like everybody's in a grid, like a line grid. I like that.
So does this work for you, or like is this better than what you thought it should be?
No, I like it a lot.
Like the kind of like the purple. I don't know. Let's say purple haze because.
The pinkish or whatever you seeing. I got pink on mine, but
same.
It's the same radar, unless it's like the whole vibrations just going through. He taps the surface, and he just feels everybody vibration going through the body. I like it. And I like how it switches between that, where he just listens to the heartbeat. So it goes from the pink lines to just regular blackness of the characters, like a wireframe, and it shows their heart monitor.
Yeah, well, he always had that. That he always did have. And
I like how it switches between it.
Oh, yeah, no, they do a great job. And that was like one of the bigger things about this. Like he's kind of like they're using as many of his abilities as possible.
Yep.
And I'm loving that. So, all right. So with this issue, I guess we should just jump into the damn comic, right?
Yeah, let's jump into the damn comic.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. So he's in Manhattan. He's overlooking. He's eavesdropping on a wedding, rather, for a bunch of gangsters, gangster families in New York City. He's heard some rumors that some stuff was going to be going down at this wedding. So he's checking around looking for something to go on, and the Daredevil, or rather Spider-Man villain, drops in from Brand New Day, Spot, who during the comic or Spider-Man run rather, he was kind of a joke. A lot just people didn't like him off the bat just for the fact that it was in that Brand New Day storyline, and nobody liked that storyline. So that's just something he kind of had to suffer.
I didn't read that one, so
it's okay. It's okay that you
feel like that. I'm glad I passed it.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to go down that route right now.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Right during the wedding, Daredevil's aware of something that's going to go on. Someone's crashing, and he goes right into. He notices Spot appearing, ready to steal the flower girl, and he jumps into action, saving the girl, getting her out of the way, and trying to attack Spot. No one really knows exactly what's going on. They're ready to shoot Daredevil, and then they realize what's going on. And if you have the book open, I love the way you can see Spot through Daredevil's radar.
Oh yeah, I'm on that page right now actually with him in the radar. Then it's like half of him is missing, the other half is solid. Yeah, that's pretty badass.
You can't see that. I think that's one of the things that kind of sold me on the book right off the bat. That was before. Not only did they show Spot killing this guy in like the coolest freaking way,
hell yeah,
snapping his neck like that, but then
should put in a 180.
Yeah, and then what happens? He kisses the bride.
Yo, honestly, I wanted to mention that so much. I was just waiting for you to mention it. I was like, yo, wait a minute. Hold up. And I like how he begins of it, though. He was talking about her from the beginning of the combo. Just the way she was wearing that perfume that drives me wild. And he was like, look, I'm sorry, but your perfume been driving me crazy, and I just had to do it. He kisses the bride in front of the groom. I was like, yes, that's my boy. That's what I'm talking about.
And not only did I love that, but just in the shit-eating grin he has after that again, when Spot went to go cover his eyes, and he's just kind of like laughing. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of chases him and everything. Then, as you see with the Daily Bugle page, he pretty much beat the crap out of him. So it was good stuff.
Right through him. It's crazy.
Now, to sum up the next few pages after that, Daredevil, in Volume 2, his secret identity got out.
Yeah.
So pretty much it was kind of impeding on his. Now they're showing it impeding on his job, and this was the best thing that they probably could have done in the Mark Waid run. They made it so Daredevil could not be in a courtroom.
Yeah, that's what I figured that they would use against him.
Now I don't know what like you were thinking, but personally, I thought that was one of the number one best things they did in the Waid run, because you can't make a courtroom exciting, no matter how you draw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but I like how they executed properly, because that's what because you got to realize, I don't know about how many people know about lawyerism or anything like that, but that's a real good tactic to use. And that actually shows the intelligence of any combo, that they actually use that against them.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm proud of them that actually went in that route.
It just wasn't corny. You know what I mean?
No, it made it, like you said, it made it very exciting for them to be in court, and actually the lawyer just gets up like, wait a minute, how can we take the word from a vigilante? And it was like, oh, no, you didn't. It was about to become Jerry Springer up in this bitch. Like, Daredevil was about to drop his king. Like, what you say, motherfucker? You bringing up my business here? That's what we doing right
now? And then what they're doing is to you jackass. And then a recap coming out of it, they bring in Assistant DA Kristen Duffy, who is a great character who is added to the storyline. And I just love the way she knows he's Daredevil. She doesn't believe any of the stuff, but I just like the way that she's introduced through the door.
Yeah, I like kind of introducing the rooftop between them two is. That was cute. I like I said, I thought it was cute, especially how she entices him. Like he's just trying to play the aloof role. Like, yeah, whatever you say, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm not Daredevil. And she's like, yeah, okay, all right, whatever, Daredevil. Just throws a pin at his head. He's like, did you just throw something at me?
What did you think of her right off the bat? Because right away I'm like, don't do the whole. My first thought was don't do the whole love story right so quickly. But I mean, it's kind of a weird relationship they have. So what did you think of the way? What did you think of her right off the bat?
Honestly, I just thought that she was a snobbish bitch, and I would have threw her off the roof.
That's a bit extreme.
But I'm just saying, that's just me though. She was getting on my damn nerves.
That quickly, she was already getting on your nerves?
Yeah, because it's like, dude, you just come up there with your cute body and your smug ass tone, your smelling good perfume, and you just gonna accuse me of being Daredevil. I'm like, damn, we on the roof right now, girl. You ain't really safe right now. Well, that's the villain side of me. But honestly, I'm just joking. But good side, I like her attitude, just engaging them. But I do like the fact that his rebuttals were great.
That's true. Very
his
true.
His rebuttals hitting her back was just awesome. And he kept his cool the whole time.
Yeah,
but
he was playing with her. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the best part about the whole situation, even after he just and bowed everything that she said, and she leaves. He jumps off the freaking roof and turns to the tail. I was like...
And then what happened, that was the great, because it was like the next transition to the whole story, because it's kind of broken down.
Holes in the window, and just like, yeah, okay, I'm back to being Daredevil now after all
exactly.
that.
He's back to do his thing. And
I love it. It's like he's the best liar, and he's just keeping up with it.
He's a lawyer. He has to be a great liar.
Yeah, but either way, I just thought that whole scene was just textbook awesomeness right there.
Mm-hmm.
He just lied to her face straight up and is just talking on the phone, twirling his stick, does he's showing off, doing... It's pretty much like what I had to deal with when working with you in the newsroom half the time.
What are you talking about? How much time do you lie to me at work? By the way, I guess we should also say that the way we met is, well, we used to work at Fox together, so...
Yeah. But, you know, I kept a lot of things lying about myself at the workplace, so it was just like, whatever. Every time somebody accused me at a party or somebody said, didn't I see you this? And I was like, nope. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, now you're just being... now you're just a rude bastard. So then, anyways, what's great is pretty much once Daredevil kind of had to go back into his Daredevil mode, they kind of use that as a transition to kind of help move like the main part of the story along.
Yeah.
And you see that, you know, Daredevil's under attack by somebody, and the kicker page right there is when someone threw out the confetti to mess with his radar vision, all of a sudden you're seeing a very familiar shield flying towards the man's head.
I'm sorry to get technical with you, but that's my military side of me.
What's
it's called a shaft grenade.
You're going to be one of those? 20 minutes in, and you're already going to bust my balls about shit like that?
Well, that's what it is. That's why I messed with his radar. He actually does say that in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Anti-radar shaft grenade.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm being that geek.
That's all right. So then the next 5 pages, or give or take after that, is they're pretty much, for anyone who's had never read a Daredevil issue, it's kind of help picking up who the character is, like how Matt Murdock works, essentially his relationship with Foggy, and it kind of helps. And like I said, it just helps anyone who's just checking it out for the first time. I mean, that's pretty much all it is in terms of how Daredevil works and his powers, because they're showing you his powers, but through Matt Murdock, not through Daredevil himself. You know? Yeah,
but I thought that was brilliant, especially when they show you what the world looks like after the shaft grenade blows up, and it's like, damn, that's just fucked up.
Oh, we're going back to that, huh? Yeah, way to throw me off.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to get more because I'm an artist as well, and I'm appreciating the art style that they went with this. Like, it's a real complex art style that they had to do to actually show the disorientation of a shaft grenade blowing up around Daredevil. And yes, I'm saying shaft grenade because that's the proper way to say it.
Son of a bitch. So pretty much that was. There's a lot of great things with Daredevil just right there. Just kind of just it just set up the right tone from really cover to cover on this one. And in this case, I mean, I don't know. I can only imagine how infuriating it is, like you were saying, like drawing those kind of lines and stuff like that. But it just really piqued a lot of interest, and it didn't. I'm trying to think of the right phrase here. Help me out here.
It was exciting the whole way reading it.
It wasn't a slow read whatsoever.
It was not. It was well done. It keeps you captivated the whole time you're reading it. I mean, even when the scene where Daredevil gets hit by the shield, but still he ends up lopping off one of Captain America's wings off his freaking helmet. I was like, wow, this is going to be an awesome fight. That's what got me all excited on the train, and people was looking at me all weird. I was like, mind your business. And I'm just back to reading, and it goes back to that full page panel with you got a foreshadow of Captain America's back, and you get in the background of Daredevil, and it's like, oh, it's about to be on.
Yeah, well, that was the beginning of the second one, yeah.
That was lovely. I was like, wow. Then he jumps off the roof again and takes his shield. I was like, ah!
It was... I'm surprised they don't actually work more together, or at least they've showed them more in the books together, surprisingly.
Honestly, I think that would be a great team-up.
I think it would be a great team-up. I don't think it would last very long, but I think there's just something about these two. A lawyer who lies through his teeth and like the perfect Boy Scout. I definitely think there's more stories that they would be able to tell. I mean, nowadays, I'm not saying that they've never done team ups, but I think considering everything now where the characters stand, I think they can definitely work well together. So
honestly, I just hope, because after reading all these books, I really feel that Daredevil needs to get more into the spotlight because his stories are amazing so far.
Well, I think that's one thing. Maybe we shouldn't even bother going into the second book. I mean, maybe I think real quickly is just kind of talk about like the problems the character has, because there's a lot to the character. There's a lot of the friends and family that the character, like, it's very driven in that stretch. But like, this is something I've mentioned before, off this podcast. The problem with the character, because like, there's always the Batman comparison. And the problem I see, I don't know if other people. But the thing is, though, the one thing Batman has over him is the Rogues Gallery. The problem with Daredevil is if you take away Kingpin, because that's a Spider-Man original character, you have Bullseye. You don't really have anything else after that, though.
Yeah, but honestly, let's put it this way: if we're gonna go there, the Rogues Gallery that take on Daredevil, be honest, we're talking about if we transition this to a movie, anything like that, right?
Sure.
Because honestly, when we seen the villains in the movies, they're not that great. Even when they have Batman, I mean, besides the Joker, but just at his essence form, though, in the comic book form. Essence form, he doesn't really have that many villains, granted, but his villains are pretty badass. I mean, you got the Kingpin, that's a main villain. That's his main villain.
Yeah, Spider-Man character.
Yeah, but still, the Kingpin messed with his world, too, so that can actually cross over to him. And then you got Bullseye, who's not that bad. I mean, but...
he's a great character. I don't have a problem with him.
Bullseye is actually... If they've done it really well versus what we saw in the first movie... I mean, Colin Farrell did do a good job, but either way, Bullseye is still a tough opponent. But then who else does he have to battle against?
As you mean in terms of an original character?
Like who else?
In terms of like the bigger, in terms of like I'll go with the bigger characters. How's that?
Go ahead.
You have the Hand, which that kind of is multiple characters that they've dealt with. Okay. You can say Lady Bullseye. You can even say Elektra, technically.
Yeah, you can bring Elektra into this.
And I'm talking about just purely top tier characters.
Yeah,
that's it.
But honestly, you're failing to see the point, though. It's not about if they're big name or how. It's just the fact that how the fights happen. Because when you read his combos, they have some really big fights, and the audience will be interested in seeing him battle in these situations, especially his appendage being a blind superhero. That's just excitement enough, and him actually going around the city fighting regular baddies, and then fighting off a big person like the Hand or the Kingpin or fighting Elektra. Like, they don't have to rush anything if Marvel would do it right with him.
If they did it right. But, all right, that being said, the second comic book of Daredevil had Electro on the cover. Hold on, let me just count here. One,
Are you
two,
Dark
three.
Knight now?
No, I'm just talking about like the regular Daredevil series.
Oh, because he did battle Electro on the Dark Knight one, too.
Well, I'm just talking about regular Daredevil right now.
Oh, sorry.
I think it was in the fifth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the fifth book, he fought the character, the Matador, the dumbest, one of the worst comic books, sir, I have ever read in my life. The Matador. I'm sorry.
This is also Wade, right?
No. I'm talking about like the Stan Lee days right now.
Oh, the Matador, really?
Yes, the Matador. I'm not even exaggerating.
You're talking about what's that? The 80s, 70s?
No, we're talking about 60s, sir.
Then, yeah, I don't like the 60s versus combos. I mean, I tried to read them.
But a lot of times that's where the origin of the villains happened from, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they had some corny villains back then.
Corny, bro. Come on. They had 4 issues, and they had the Owl, which is, as far as I'm concerned, is a direct ripoff of the Penguin. I will go that far, to compare that to Batman again.
I thought that was like, because I remember that was on Spider-Man's villain, right?
The Owl? I don't think so.
Because I do remember a Marvel issue with a villain called the Owl.
I'm gonna say that one's a Daredevil one. I'll double check on that one, but
I have to look at it because I think I have an issue still in my closet somewhere. But you might be right. But either way, yeah, that was just weird.
They had the Purple Man, which was issue 4. That was okay.
Purple Man is actually a good villain. I mean, they did a great job recently with him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he took over the whole tri-state area of New York City.
Yeah, again, okay. Let's sir, please, let's not forget Stiltman, okay?
I didn't mention him. You did.
No. I want to make sure we didn't, because that's one of the dumbest characters as well.
You just mentioned him, though.
No, but it has to be said. It's not. He's not. I will go on to say he's not as bad as the Matador, but I will go that far. The one way which I think they totally dropped the ball is that in issue. Let me try to really get this thing up here. Issue 9, there was like a character from like Daredevil like college years that like he had a castle and like a small island. He kind of gives you a Doctor Doom kind of vibe. And it was fantastic, and they never addressed it again.
Oh, my God.
It was like the one, it made no sense. I'm just going to talk about the first 10 issues right there because, we'll go with the bigger styles there. And everything.
Hold up.
What?
Daredevil had a thing with Black Cat?
Oh, you're jumping ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, my bad.
You're totally jumping. That's okay.
I'll forget you while we're talking.
Oh, but I will say that's one of the funniest books that you're going to read in the Wade run.
I'm kind of confused because I don't know what you jumping from Wade or whatever books you're talking about. Because when you mentioned that he had a college, I'm like, what issue is that? When you said issue number 9, I went to issue number 9.
All right. And here's another thing. I will say this much right off the bat. I fucking hate renumbering of volumes. Or books or
honestly,
it kind of works well. It worked well for setting up this podcast so we can figure out when are we going to try to start recording. Outside of that, I loathe.
Yeah, because right now I'm blind and you just jumping from the issue. I'm like, what issue is he talking about now?
I'm sorry. It is. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking you know what the hell you're talking. You know what you're talking about too with Daredevil. So we gotta. I'll slow it down a bit, but that sounded a little bit meaner than I wanted to, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, that's the problem the character has. The Rogues Gallery has screwed this character over. They tried doing a team, they turned this into a team-up book with Black Widow. Yeah. And honestly, until Frank Miller came around, they were about to cancel the book.
Damn.
They were going bi-monthly with it before he came along.
Okay, so, all right, let me recap. Mm-hmm. So, this one that I'm reading right now, the Wade one, this started in 2011.
Yes.
This is the ongoing one. So pretty much they're about to get taken over by Frank Miller? Or are you talking about...
No. Let's start over.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
When Frank Miller took over the book, 79, I want to say.
Yeah.
79, 80. The book was bi-monthly because the sales were so low.
Yeah.
If it got any worse, they were going to cancel the book.
Oh, wow.
But when he jumped on, he did a phenomenal job.
Well, of course. It's Frank Miller.
But just have you read the
not issues? All of it. I don't even remember a little bit of Frank Miller stuff, but I know it was really dark. The only one I have is the 181, the double issue.
Mm-hmm.
That was done by him. And honestly, I'm not surprised because he really gets dark with his stories. He takes every type of superhero.
Like a film noir thing, which I like.
Oh, yeah. And he puts them in a messed up situation all the time. It's just like there's no you don't really see a way out until the end, and he forces a hero to do something that they not really normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. That's why I like it.
I think one of my favorite written issues of his was the last one of his main run. I gotta try to remember the damn number in it, but it was like him talking in a hospital bed with Bullseye. It was fantastic.
Ooh,
it's really, really good. All right, Q. So I think what we'll do is, we got the first issue out of the way. We kind of got our thoughts on Daredevil. So how about we hold up this up to next week, if that's cool with you. So we'll get a little bit more of the Wade stuff and get into the Dark Knights because I also really want to do Daredevil End of Days miniseries. Did you read that one yet?
Dude, this is the only two I got so far, man. You told me to just read the Wade.
Sir, I'm asking. I'm just asking. That's fine. You can just say no. I'm like, okay, we'll talk later. There you go.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
It is a phenomenal series. I honestly loved it from beginning to end. I got all the alternate covers, just really good stuff. So, so that being said, all right, so we'll save more for next week. And also, I want to point out today we're just going to talk Daredevil stuff. But I think what we want to do with this podcast is we want to kind of split it up. We're going to talk Daredevil and pretty much talk about other news or just other small stuff. We're not going to make a big deal about it. So it's going to be maybe 75, 80 Daredevil, and we'll just talk about other stuff going on with us or with collectibles or comic books or jazz like that. Because, Kia, the one thing I need to talk about is something you were going to freak out over.
And what's that?
Sir, I picked up the Mary Jane J. Scott Campbell statue over the weekend.
Oh, you bastard.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought the DC Bombshells one I was in a really good solid mood, good run.
I post about it, dude, and I was like, man.
Sideshow did an amazing job painting these statues.
Money together, goddamn,
bro, phenomenal. And I will say this much: I will do our first pimp out for anybody. Unmaskedcollectibles.com. It's a local store near me. A buddy of mine who owns the store, he runs it. Does a phenomenal job. He takes care of people. Unmasked Collectibles. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. He sells me these statues, gives me a really great pricing. And I can't say enough great things about the guy. So,
well, tax season is coming up, so I might have to take a trip to your neck of the woods.
I think take the train, and we'll do that. Because, that's the other thing. I'm stuck in Jersey right now. Q's over in Brooklyn. Thank God for Skype. And
thank God for just anything. Jesus Christ.
Good moments like that.
I swear, I'll make the moves. I don't care where you are. I'll make it happen.
Oh, we'll make it happen for sure. I'm definitely not questioning that.
Honestly, we should get Mike involved because, I mean, technically it'll be like our anniversary thing.
And and our buddy Mike, he's a big Batman fan, so I think the fact that we'll be able to throw Batman things at him, all the more fun.
No, I mean, because it's coming up. Because what we did last year, we went to Jane Silent Bob's place.
Yeah, that was about a year ago. Yeah, we went there for the first time.
Yeah, y'all want to keep on doing that or just nah?
We were talking about going to a bunch of different comic books, so I'm definitely still down for that. Let's figure out. Let's get into a groove with this podcast thing, because if this thing isn't. If this thing's actually bearable to listen to, that'd be fantastic, but I doubt it will be. So let's get into a good podcasting groove first, and then we'll go there. Because the one warning, I guess I should say, is the first 10 episodes. Just give us a minute, guys. Just give us a minute. You know, we're working. We're trying. We're hard. We're learning. So, all right. So I think that's it. Next week we'll talk more Daredevil. I think maybe issues 2 through, I guess that would be 4 of the Mark Waid stuff. We'll jump in the first half of the Daredevil Dark Knights, and I want to talk about that Mary Jane statue. And do you have anything on tap you wanted to talk about, bro?
Not anything right now. Not right now, because other than that, I'm just running on my own thing.
That's not what you say. I can't talk about it yet. See, you got to wait another week. That's what you got to say.
You got to wait another week, man. I can't talk about it. It's G14 classified.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully we didn't make this too unbearable for you for the first episode. I promise you it can only get better from here. That's all I have for you. So thanks for listening. Remember, check out Monty's Mayhem, Kuma Creations on Facebook, Twitter, on Instagram. Thanks for listening. I'm Monty.
I'm Kuma.
And don't forget,
stay frosty.